does the heavier guy need, he's 200 pounds.
Yeah, he needs to be in the, probably the SPI. But this one right here. I don't know that it really matters too much. They're both large boats, and the idea being that they're going to give you a lot of support, flotation, and stability.
Excellent. How many pounds can one of these hold?
I frequently take, I'd say 70 pounds in my boat, and I don't include my overnight gear, so I could take at least 100 pounds.
Well, let's see, what size we got here?
We got medium to large and extra large.
Well, the extra large is for me.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll see. I don't know. This is, what I do is you hold it up to you, and if it goes like this, and it goes to your ankle from your shoulder, then there's no question about it, it's going to fit.
This one's going to fit?
Yeah.
Huh?
They stretch this way a lot.
They do, with the middle-aged gut? Huh?
The length is what we're going for.
The middle-aged gut is what I'm worried about.
I think what you're probably going to want to do is have the majority of your gear, like everybody, in the back hatch. Try to balance it out though. You don't want so much gear in the back hatch and nothing in the front, because then the boat becomes front light. Okay. And then it blows around in the wind. First thing you have to do is put a spray skirt on. This is to keep the water out of your boat. And I'll explain it this way, that there is a body tube, and that's the upper part right here. And if you cinch this down, it sort of stays against your body. These are called shoulder straps, and you can put them on if you want to. You'd put your PFD on the outside, which is your life jacket of that. And this has got the spray deck part of it with a rand that actually fits on the outside of the coaming of the cockpit, and a grab loop. And that's going to fit on there so that it actually, again, as I say, seals the water out. This has an adjustable height on this seat, so we can just move it up or down. And what I want to do is just get it in a position so that when I slip into the boat, it's going to work. To get into this, what I would do is sit right on the back deck like this, put my feet in, slide over the seat, and down in. You make your adjustments on the foot braces, which I'll show you later, but right now I just let me get them set up so that if I was the one using this boat, this is the way it would work. I put the spray skirt on the back of the rim of the cockpit and slide it forward, flip the grab loop on the outside, stretch that around, and now voila, we are ready to go. At this point, water can wash over the deck of the boat and it will not come in. And this is up around here with your, again, as I say, your life jacket over top of this. The one thing you want to be careful is that it's not so tight on here that it starts to pull this, off the edge here. Okay. So you want to keep these shoulder straps loose enough so that it's not going to do that. Now, the obvious thing is if you had to come out of this boat for some reason because you turned over, you want to know how to do what's called a wet exit move. I want to just show you one demonstration. If I put my hands behind me here and I try to pull my body out of the boat without releasing the spray skirt, you see there's a lot of suction. It feels like it's holding you in. It really isn't, because once you break the seal on this, it comes out. It's easy. So once you go over, what you want to do is just lean forward, hug the boat, grab the grab loop, push it forward, off, slide out, and roll to the surface. Just
now, should that happen?
Yes.
What happens to the boat? How do we right it? How do we get back in?
This is a bulkhead. There's one there, and there is also one right up at the beginning there, or the end of the cockpit. So the only area that's going to fill up in the boat is the cockpit area. And that will not fill up with water completely because you've got flotation in the ends, which is why you keep your hatches sealed when you're out on the water. Now, if you did go over and one of the boats was upside down, then what you would do is simply take the overturned boat, grab the bow of it, slide it over the cockpit of the other boat upside down, lift up on it a little bit. It flushes all the water out of the front of this cockpit here, and will a good exit of water will actually take 95% of that water out of the cockpit. It's gone, so you don't have to do any pumping. Now, we do have a pump, so you can use that if you needed to, but ultimately the idea is that you don't really need to use that if you do a good rescue. So all you do is empty the water out, turn the boat right side up again, bring the two boats side by side. The one person basically holds on like this and stabilizes the kayak, while the other person climbs up on the back deck, slides their feet in, turns over, then you reattach the spray skirt. If you have a sponge, you sponge out the last remaining water, and you're all set to go again.
How stable are these things?
Pretty stable. but they do have a little bit of what you call rockability here. So what you want in a boat is the ability to float over the seas. You don't want it to be totally flat. If you had a flat-bottomed boat, the boat would just be very stable on flat seas, but the minute you got into real wavy stuff, it would make the boat tip more. So you want the boat to shed off the waves, and that's why you've got a little roundness to the bottom of the hull. They're great in the seas, and all you have to remember is, as long as you have your hips totally separated from your upper body, you just let them float like this, the boat can go over anything.
Well, like what size waves can actually something like this handle?
10, 12, 15 foot.
Is that right?
Sure. I've been out in all kinds of stuff. This is another thing. If you want to use the rudder, you just make sure that that's free. And to adjust this, all you have to do is take that out of the jam cleat, and we pull on one of these, and it goes down.
Wow. Yeah.
Now you can press on the foot pegs up here, and as you can see, it's going to steer the rudder. Let's steer one side, steer the other side. See?
Great.
So you let up on one foot and push on the other, and it just steers the rudder back and forth very easily.
Because I don't really use the rudder, we don't really need them on this?
You don't need them until the wind gets so bad that it's causing you to weather helm too much, you know, weathercock, and it starts to turn the boat so much. And what happens is a boat, like a kayak, in a real heavy wind acts like a sailboat. And the minute you have wind coming off of one side of your bow or stern, it's going to want to make the boat steer back up into the wind. And as it does that, you will have to correct constantly for it, which means that you either use lots of technique and get tired doing that, or you use a rudder or a skeg. Now, a skeg is better, I think, in general, but if you don't have one, you should have a rudder on a boat, on a sea kayak, so you can use that.
When was the last time somebody went out and did what we're about to do?
A couple years ago, we had a couple of people do this.
It's been two years though,
yeah,
huh?
about 2 years.
So this is a little bit more of a, this is a bigger trip than
Yes,
most.
it is. Yeah.
Okay. Because, you know, I'm trying to figure out what I'm getting myself into here.
Not too many people just sort of decide they're going to go out into Boston Harbor and start touring through the islands without a group.